Acharya, Ashtodasa Srimad Srila Abhaya Chanarvan, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavin ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jai. Today we'll be reading from Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Status Quo, Chapter 15, Descriptions of the Kingdom of God. Today we'll do text number 10. We'll all do Mangal Charan. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvita Tam Sujivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vangsha Kalpataru Vriksha Kripa Sindhu Bhyaivacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire Nashtapraeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayat Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Jai. Text 10. Esha Devediter Garbha Esha Devediter Garbha Ojakashyapam Arpitam Ojakashyapam Arpitam Dishastimirayan Sarva Dishastimirayan Sarva Vardate Gnirivedashi Vardate Gnirivedashi Esha Devaditer Garbha Esha Devaditer Garbha Ojakashyapam Arpitam Ojakashyapam Arpitam Dishastimirayan Sarva Rayan Sarva Vardate Gnirivedashi Vardate Gnirivedashi Vaishnavas Esha Devaditer Garbha Ojakashyapam arpitam Dishashtimirayan sarva Vartadegnerivaidashi Esha devediter garbha Ojakashyapa arpitam Dishashtimirayan sarva Vartadegnerivaidashi Esha devediter garbha Ojakashyapam arpitam Dishashtimarayan sarva Vartadegnerivaidashi Esha devediter garbha Ojakashyapam arpitam Vishashtimarayan sarva Vartadegnerivaidashi. Word for word. Esha, this, Deva, O Lord, Dite, of Diti, Garbha, womb, Ojaha, semen, Kashyapam, of Kashyapa, Arpitam, deposited, Disha, directions, Timirayan, causing complete darkness, Sarva, all, Vardate, overloads, Agnihi, fire, Eva, as, Edashi, fuel. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Abhayachanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. As fuel overloads a fire, so the embryo created by the semen of Kashyapa in the womb of Diti has caused complete darkness throughout the universe. Purport. Small purport. The darkness throughout the universe is explained herewith as being caused by the embryo created by, in the womb of Diti by the semen of Kashyapa. So that's it. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes you may wonder, why does Srila Prabhupada write such a small purport? Right? No? You wonder, why such a small purport? He's repeating what is written in the translation, isn't it? Doesn't it feel that? Actually, because it is socially pertinent. So you have to repeat it again. There's a social pertinence to this. So whenever, remember, purports are ecstasies of Srila Prabhupada. So if he's writing it, there is social pertinence. So that's why we meditate on it. Right? So here we will see Esha Deve Diter Garbha Oja Kashyapam Arpitam. So Arpita means when you do your cleansing of your hand, you put water, you do Arpita. Arpita means to deposit. Right? So here the word Arpitam means to deposit. Now, such nice usage of Sanskrit, right? That Kashyapa has deposited his semen in the womb of Diti. So nice way of saying it, right? Such a sweet way of saying it. Right? Now modern science will say like, oh, they did this and that. Like modern words are very crude. This is poetry. Now here's something interesting. Kashyapa is qualified, Diti is qualified. And by their union, an unqualified person comes. So what is our social learning from this? There is a social learning from this story. That today, when we are seeing the hedonistic society, today, right, people are killing animals in droves, people are, hurting others, like Ukraine and Russia war is going on, Yemen war is going on, in Africa war is going on. Wherever you turn your head, war is going on. Right, problems are happening. Why is this happening? Where have these unqualified people come from? What is the word used by Arjuna? Varna Sankara. That is the term he uses in Bhagavad Gita, right? Varna Sankara. Where have these unqualified people come from? They have come from qualified people. Are you catching this? The unqualified people have come from qualified people. right? Recently, in India, there is a big hoo-ha about Kashmir files. And they're talking about how a certain sect of society became very wild and did some very wild acts. The question is, where has that society come from? Where have these people been trained? How have they been trained? If you go back through their lineage, you will see that they have actually come from a qualified personality. Once upon a time, most of that area of Bharatvarsh were Hindus. Right? So, what does that mean? So, if they were Hindus, they were born and brought up in that culture. Right? They were born and brought up in that culture. So, these are the guys who have converted. Right? And they are the ones doing the atrocities. What does that tell you? Like in Bangladesh, right now there is big problems happening for devotees. Like a lot of agitation is happening with the certain sect against the temple. So you will see where are these people coming from? They are coming from qualified people. Are you understanding? So qualified people have given reason to unqualified society. This was Arjuna's problem. Are you understanding what Arjuna's problem is? Arjuna is saying, my dear Krishna, Varna Sankara will take place if we destroy the social structure. Right? Now, of course, Krishna being polite, he's saying, no, Varna Sankaras have always been taking place. Even when social norms were perfect. In the case of Kashya and Diti, they are in heavenly regions. Right? So they are in a very qualified place. It's not like they're in an unqualified area. Right? When Indra blasphemes his guru Brihaspati, was he in an unqualified place? No, he was in Amravati, sitting on his beautiful elephant. Right? It said, he's a white elephant with 4 tusks, not just 2, 4 tusks. So very beautiful looking, ivory, with gold studded, beautiful, like very nice place. And in such a place, you do an unqualified act. Are you getting? The result becomes unqualified. So this is our appreciation here, that in a social structure, right? In a social structure, when there are qualified people, unqualified results can occur. And then these unqualified people can cause great distress to society. Great distress. Right? Great. We're not talking small. Great distress. Like for example, I was listening to a conversation. This was an interfaith debate, and I think there was somebody representing the Muslim sect, and he was saying that, the terrorism are hardly 1% or 2%. Like small number. So then I think there was somebody making a counterpoint that, well, if you're 1 billion, 1%, 2% is a lot. Is that making sense? 1%, 2% is a lot. It's a big number. Right? And so, even if it's 1 or 2%, here we are talking about 2 people. Here, we're talking about 2 personalities only, Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu. 2 people. Look what commotion they are causing. Right? So, when unqualified result happens, even though one may be in one may have qualified lineage, one may have a qualified situation, the result becomes unqualified. Dhritarashtra, he is the son of Vyasadeva. He's the son of Vyasadeva. So very qualified personality. He's not a street rogue. Of course, when we read stories, we feel like he's a street rogue, right? It feels like it, right? There is a dedicated chapter in Krishna book called I forgot the exact, the Dhritarashtra, described. Do you remember the name of the chapter? Ill-motivated or something. I forgot the second word, but the ill-motivated Dhritarashtra. Dedicated. Chapter dedicated to Dhritarashtra. In Canto 10. Right? So Canto 10 is all about Krishna, right? Of course, in that chapter also we discuss, Akrura describes about Krishna and how Krishna is supreme and then Krishna wants you to do this. So it's not like Krishna is not, but the point is that there's a chapter dedicated to Dhritarashtra. Right? Now Dhritarashtra is the son of Vyasadeva. So very qualified personality. But although coming from a qualified lineage, and he is in a qualified situation, he is surrounded by Mahajans. He is surrounded by Bhishma. He is surrounded by Vidura. Both are Mahajans. Bhishma is a Mahajan and Vidura is Yamaraj, so Mahajan. He is surrounded by 2 Mahajans. If you include Vyasadeva, 3. So but of course, because that is, fatherly, so we are not including that. So we are talking from an advisory perspective. He's got 2 Mahajans around him. So his situation is also auspicious. He is coming from an auspicious lineage, but he is so unqualified, he causes a war and utter destruction of his entire his family. Utter destruction. 8 people survived Mahabharata. Out of Akshaunis, 18 Akshaunis, 8 people survived. So that is utter destruction. When we are thinking utter destruction, that is utter destruction. So this we have to understand that yes, that from qualified people an unqualified result occurs. This is the reason why Krishna asks Arjuna, reject the process of karma and jnana. Reject it. It will yield to problems. We hear the famous story of King Nriga. Right? King Nriga? Nriga. Sorry, I pronounced his name wrong. King Nriga. Right? He was very rich, very opulent. And he creates he creates a situation where he's giving charity of cows. And he was giving so many cows that, Chitraketu did not know how much more, piety to add. Just like Chitraketu did not know how much more, impiety to add for Jagai and Madai. Just like Chitraketu couldn't figure that out. He couldn't figure out how much piety to give to King Nriga. Right? A very, very qualified personality. He was giving so much charity. He made one mistake. One mistake. And that also not, it's not like he made this mistake willfully. Not willfully. He gave one cow to one Brahmana. Brahmana very happy. Goes. Cow, Brahmana is, eating prasadam, very happy. Got a cow, Cow just wanders back into the, into the herd again. And then, because cow is very beautiful, picks that cow again, gives it to the next Brahmana. Now 2 Brahmanas are fighting, right? And Brahmaswa, the property of a Brahmana. That is the word Krishna tells to the boys. And these are the boys who then call Krishna and say there is a lizard in the well. You know the story, right? We're not going to get into the story, we're just getting into the philosophy. So then Krishna is saying that Brahmaswa, one should be very careful in dealing with the possessions of a Brahmana. Right? This is like Samba and all of these. And again, these same boys, they went and made fun of Narad Muni, right? And they got cursed. So you see, you don't learn sometimes. You don't learn, right? He's telling them, Brahmaswa, be very careful, don't try to do this to Brahman. Then they're going, will it be a boy or girl? Samba is sitting there, right, holding that piece of iron, boy or girl. He says, that'll be the destruction of your family. That's what it'll be, right? So anyway, back to King Nriga. So Krishna is telling that Brahmaswa is very, when a Brahmana has possession, if that gets distributed, that's a great crime. So now Nriga made one mistake. So now Chitraketu has like a book of piety, it's like unlimited, like so much. And then he has this one page of impiety. Right? And probably one page, when I'm saying maybe 2-3 sentences. Like in a page, maybe like few sentences, maybe a palm leaf. Yeah, maybe let's use that. A palm leaf of, impiety. Now because of that, he's given a choice. What is Nriga given? Choice? He says, you can enjoy lifetimes of Brahma. Or then you have to suffer for this one impiety. Now Nriga is thinking, what do you mean, man? One cow. One cow. And really this? He says, let me take that position, but please give me, let me meet Krishna. So then he gets the benediction that you will meet Krishna, and then Krishna will liberate you from this Janma karma. From this, this samsara of Janma and karma, you will get liberated. Right? So when Nriga gets that option, he immediately takes it. And then we know the story, then, fine, in Dwaraka, boys are playing, throw the well, they think, what is this? They call Krishna, Krishna throws the, straw down, doesn't throw a straw, touches. The point is that immediately King Nriga dies from the lizard position, and then he comes back up, and then he narrates this story to all the boys. And Krishna then says, yes, Brahmaswa, one has to be very careful about the possessions of a Brahmana. Krishna makes this point. But the real point here is that if we are interested in jnana and karma, if that is our interest, our result eventually will be a problem. Eventually unqualification will occur. If this is our basis, jnana and karma is our basis, there will eventually be an unqualified situation. Right? No, there is no perfection here. In jnana there is no perfection, and in karma there is no perfection. If you are dealing with dead matter, and you are trying to get knowledge of dead matter, what auspiciousness are you expecting? What auspiciousness are you expecting? Yes, imagine I tell you, let's go to the graveyard. Okay, we all go to the graveyard. There are, dead bodies burning around. And we are sitting and say, let's have a party. Right? I'll bring the drinks. You bring the mixture. You bring the, finger food. And, you get the music. We'll have fun. Dead body burning, another dead body laying here. You think that would be something that you would, you get scared after a few drinks, you'll start thinking, maybe there are ghosts here. You get worried. This is jnana and karma. Jnana and karma is you're dealing with dead matter. You're getting knowledge of, if I put this dead body this way, it will look like I have an audience. Isn't it? If you just, stand the dead body up and just, sellotape its eyes, you'll be like, see, I have an audience, and then you will speak. I am speaking to an audience. Is that intelligence? No, that's a behavior of a drunk person. That is why it says, manda sumanda matayo. That is why, you're mad, you're insane, like literally insane. That literal translation is insanity. This is, jnana and karma is insanity. So Krishna's encouragement to Arjuna is, give up jnana and karma, sarva dharman parityajya. Give up jnana and karma, because these two philosophies are dealing with dead matter. And guess what we are taught in our schools? What is our education system? Jnana and karma. We are being taught, this is how to deal with dead matter. No, education is not about how to deal with dead matter. It's how to deal with spiritual matter. That is education. This is education. Bhagavatam is education. Right? And here we can see, Kashyapa is very qualified. Diti is very qualified. What happened? How come this Dishash Timarayan Sarva? All direction, Dishash. In all directions, Timarayan. Darkness. Isn't it funny that you are in the material world and now you are realizing that you are in ignorance? Now you realize it? When Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, now you realize you are in darkness? Krishna is saying, Arjuna, no, this material world is darkness. Right? So what is our friend Prahlad Maharaj, what is he telling? Was it Adandago? What is Adandago? Srila Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Instruction. What a beautiful, right? Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, the Nectar of Instruction, yes. He says that there's Goswami. Right? Goswami is one who has controlled his senses. And when he has controlled his senses, there is light from all the gates. You've seen that, right? You remember that shloka? Light shines from all the gates, right? And then he says, then there is Gaudasa, or as Prahlad Maharaj calls, Adandago. Right? In Nectar of Instruction. So beautiful, right? Srila Prabhupada. Adandago. And what is this? Adandago bir Vishatam Tamishram. See, what a beautiful line, right? By Prahlad, 5-year-old boy. But he is giving knowledge that is so profound. Adandago bir Vishatam Tamishram. Here, Dishash Tamishraya. Sarva. Now you are realizing. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, no, you have always been Adandago bir Vishatam Tamishram. You have always been in this situation. It's not like now you have come to this realization. But of course, here the demigods have come to this realization now. Dishas Tamishraya Sarva. So this is the point of Krishna, that, my dear Arjuna, the path of jnana and karma will not yield a good result. That's why when we are thinking, oh, so much violence, has happened. How has this violence happened? All of them have come from You think the Germans were not qualified? You think they were not educated? How they became Nazis? You think they weren't educated? You think they didn't go to school and learn A, B, C, D? You think something was missing there? No, they didn't learn A for apple. That's the problem. That's why we'll now teach everybody fruits. A for apple, B for bird. It should be very peaceful. Then they will learn something nice. Really? You think they didn't learn all this stuff? They learned, they're educated. You think our friend Hitler was not educated? Educated? Very well educated. What happened? Most of the terrorists, if you see modern terrorists, right, you will see they're all educated. Educated people. I was seeing a post. They're saying, IIT, IIM, Harvard, educated people. What happened? What happened? How did you become Varna Sankara? Because your education is Varna Sankara. Remember Arjuna's social projects will be destroyed. Remember the point he's making? What is one of the social projects? Education system. Destroyed. And then we are thinking, how these people can do this? Sometimes if you see, if you have ever got a chance of watching some of these movies, that animal activists make, like I saw this movie Earthling. Hey, it's shocking, man. It's, shocking how this person is holding a bird. Okay, so bird is not dead. They're holding a live bird. And she's plucking the feathers of the bird. Right? And it's not like, it's a small bird, so you don't notice it and you don't feel it. If something is small, you generally don't notice it. There's a pretty big bird. Because it has big feathers, right? So you need a big bird. And this bird is like, crying, in front of your face, and you're just plucking this with ease, just plucking the feathers out. We get these feather-topped pillows. I don't know if you've seen in the market. Feather-tipped pillows. Where do you think those feathers are coming from? From birds. They're plucking them out. Right? And then you're sitting and thinking, where did this ignorance that the bird is crying and screaming in front of you, and you're just like going away, man, economy. Need the money, need the artha. Right? So this blindness is what Krishna is talking about. This is blindness. This is tamishra. This. You think Indra wasn't thinking tamishra when he's drinking his wine? He's not thinking, what am I doing here? He's not thinking like, what am I doing here? Did you remember that story that he gets cursed as a pig? Indra gets cursed to become a pig. He's, Srila Prabhupada tells that story. He's enjoying as a pig. Right? He's a male pig in the pigsty. And pigs have, few females. So whatever he was doing in heaven, now he's doing down here. He had his apsaras up there. He has his, little piggies down here. And he's got his little piglets. He's got a full army. So then finally they come down. He says, time has come. He says, what do you mean? I'm enjoying? He's sitting in crap, in poop. He's thinking, I'm enjoying. What is the problem? This is the issue. This is tamishra. This is the problem. That's why, yesterday we were in university, we were telling that. So when Yudhishthir, he goes back to the heavenly regions, Mahabharata is explained. There he's sitting, Duryodhan and Karna sitting there. He's thinking, what is this? How terrible is that, right? Just think about this. You've gone through all this, your house burned down, your wife is insulted, they try to kill your mother, they try to kill you. It's like this full on, right? And then I won't even give you a land to pierce a needle through. Those types of statements are made. And then, Abhimanyu is dragged after they kill him. They drag his body. This stuff is happening. And after all of this stuff, you're coming up and you're thinking, these guys in heaven? Duryodhan, what's going on? This is Yudhishthir's problem. What is it? How come these guys arrived in heaven? Then, of course, finally, he meets Krishna, Narayan in his beautiful form, takes him and says, no, for you, Yudhishthir, I just wanted to show you heaven. This is heaven. But for you, no, we go to Vaikuntha. Right? So this is Krishna's presentation to Arjuna. If you're doing jnana and karma, esha deve diter garba, oja kashyapam arpitam. They are qualified people. And the oja, that lineage, oja, seminal lineage. Right? Your oja, kashyapam, it is off Kashyapa. Right? We're just two generations off from Brahma. 2 generations off from Brahma. Arpitam. It is his arpita. It is his deposition. Mai arpit mano buddhi. That is what Krishna is asking. Not oja. Mai arpit manor buddhi. But here they're saying, Kashyapa arpitam dishas timarayan sarva. Now there is darkness all around. Now what to do? Right now it is problematic. Hare Krishna. So this is the the plea from the demigods. The plea from the demigods is that this this situation of Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu is causing great problem. Right? This is their plea. And now this the beauty of Vedas is that they give examples that are so surreal, so cut through. Right? Vardhategnir ivaidhashi. We are studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So Vardhategnir ivaidhashi. So what it's saying here is, just as fuel overloads fire. Anyone done a bonfire? Like, put the wood up and thinking, okay, let's start it. Right? So most of us can't start the fire. Right? It's very hard. Very hard to start the fire. What do? You bring some kerosene. Right? And we used to do in college a lot. We used to bring kerosene. And kerosene is very unique. It is bluish looking. Kerosene looks a little bluish. Right? Right? So, a little bluish looking. So, we used to have a bottle of kerosene. Right? And then what we'll do is we will douse the wood with the, kerosene. Try to light. But of course, the wood also has to be a little dry. See, that's, some principles. See, for one who knows how to do this, they know what to pick. You're young people, we don't know what, right? So we're just getting some wood and we're trying. Fresh wood we broke. Thinking, wood's lot. So we broke fresh wood. It's not going to burn. Fresh wood won't burn. It needs to be dried wood. But anyway, we put a lot of kerosene, burning. And we're thinking, hey, this is not going. So then at one time what I did is I just opened the kerosene and I just doused the kerosene on the fire. Right? And fire died. But you're thinking, but I applied the fuel, didn't I? Didn't I give the fuel? Am I not intelligent? Do I not have the jnana? What am I missing? Fuel, fire, combustion, heat, and light. Isn't that the formula? What's wrong with my formula? Something wrong is that sometimes you overload the fuel. That's what's wrong. Vardhategnir ivaidhasi. You are overloading this fuel. This is jnana and karma. Are you getting what is the jnana and karma? This Vardhategnir ivaidhasi. You have overloaded this wood with your fuel. Your jnana, your karma. Yes, my jnana and my karma. It will destroy this fire. Right? This is the example of the Vedas. So powerful. Right? So perfect. Now this fuel, this overload of fuel that is being discussed, right? When I was throwing kerosene and then we were like, okay, this is not working. They're like, okay, what should we do? Then we got some dried leaves and we were trying to set this fire up. Then we were thinking, oh, this is so much fun. There's bonfire. So then, then what I did is I took the bottle and, of course, not realizing, right? This is called not realizing the sin. We are college going engineering students. Engineering students. So what does that mean? We know our logic. We know how it works. We took the bottle and then what I did is I just poured the fuel. So what I did is, you're throwing the fuel, at one time when I did that, I created a perfect line. So perfect line means from the bottle, perfect line of kerosene falling into the bonfire. Guess what happens when that happens? The fire goes back up. The fire went back. I threw the bottle and the bottle burst. Your Molotov cocktail. Yeah? This is what people use, right? They make Molotov cocktail. Right? So these things happen. So this Vardhategnir ivaidhashi, if you do not know that your fuel is going to overload the fire and cause a problem, then your intelligence is not sound. This is the presentation from Shastra. This is the presentation of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why Krishna is telling Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, if you are thinking by jnana and by karma, you are going to get a result that is going to be very nice. No, it's not. You have to take to the process of bhakti and learn to get out of this material manifestation. If you are in the material manifestation, you are going to meet Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. On Sunday, we have Ram Navami. Right? So we'll be celebrating Ram Navami. And then we think of Ravana, right? Ravana, great demon. Right? So in Balakanda, in the beginning of Balakanda, there's a very beautiful Mangal Charan given of Ramayana. And in that Mangal Charan, and this Mangal Charan comes very nicely. Valmiki is sitting, he sees a hunter. Right? He sees a hunter. The hunter is, there are two birds. Right? So there is a male bird and a female bird. Right? And they are enjoying their life. Right? They have their little nest, with some, chicks and some eggs. They're enjoying their life. This bird, tribal hunter comes and he shoots and he kills. I think it was he kills the female bird. Yes, he kills the female bird. Right? And then when Valmiki sees this, now who's Valmiki himself? He was also a hunter. Is he not? He himself was a hunter, right? He was doing the same thing. When he sees this, he gets, he feels immediately, inspired. And he tells the Mangal Charan of Ramayana. The Ramayana has a Mangal Charan, just like, we are doing Om Jnana Timirandasya. So Ramayana also has a Mangal Charan. I mean, I don't know the exact words of the Mangal Charan. But there, the translation of the Mangal Charan is, oh you terrible hunter. Right? You kill the female and put the male in distress. Right? So he says this is the Mangal Charan of Ramayana. This is why? Because then the Vaishnavas explain that when you look at the words of the Mangal Charan, you translate it, says, oh Ravana, who took Sita away and troubled Ram. Right? See, those words are coming. Now, why am I making this point? Is that when Valmiki is seeing something that he himself did, right? Some time ago, Valmiki himself did the same activity that is now being done by this hunter. He gets inspired, right, to write Ramayana. Are you understanding? This is using jnana and karma in the right way, in the process of bhakti. Right? This is the conclusion of such a thing. Now, when we think of Ravana, just like we have Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Ravan is the son of Vishwarava. Who's Vishwarava? Son of Pulatsya Muni. So great personality himself, a great Brahmana. So we have to appreciate such personalities. So Ravana is also born from a Brahmana. Now when you look at American society, right? You're seeing that how the intellectuals in the American society are destroying the very fabric of the American society. It's the intellectuals that are destroying it. Amazing, isn't it? They built an empire. By doing wars, by building petrodollar, by pegging the selling and buying of gas and oil, using petrol. So they built an empire. Right? So imagine you built a complete empire and a complete economy, right? Now that very economy that you have built is getting destroyed, but by whom? By the intellects. Not recognizing that the growth of their intellectuality is based on that wealth. And if you destroy that very wealth, you destroy the very fabric of your intellectual nature. Are you noticing? That's how jnana and karma works. You work hard, you become knowledgeable. When you become knowledgeable, you think this karma is worthless. Not recognizing that it was that karma that got you the jnana. Okay? Now you reject the karma. Now you are becoming a jnani. You're trying to stay in the position of jnani, and at some point you'll give up the jnana and go back to karma. Because jnana doesn't feed you. Karma feeds you. Are you understanding how this is working? So this is the jnana and karma conundrum. And Arjuna was in this conundrum. He is saying, my dear Krishna, I don't want to do this karma. Because my jnana says that I shouldn't do this. What is Krishna saying? No, Arjuna. Anyway, you will be forced to do it. Nahi kaschid shanamapi. Not even for a moment. Jatu tishtantya akarma krit. That you will be tishtata. You will stay in a position where you cannot do a work. Right? So nice, right? These words by Krishna. He said, no, you are doing karma, then you will get jnana, then from that jnana you will reject that karma, then you will keep going with jnana, then recognize, oh, this is not really working, you go back into karma. And then you're going with your karma, then thinking, well, this karma is not good because I've gained more jnana, I'll reject the karma. And then this cycle of jnana and karma will, bahunam janmanam ante, jnanamanvam prapadyate. You will keep going in this journey. Right? So this is Krishna's presentation. This vardate gnir ivaidyashi, this fuel, don't overload this fuel. Don't overload it. It'll destroy the fire. So this is the beautiful presentation. It's very nice shloka. And of course, Srila Prabhupada will read the purport again because he is re-emphasizing. The darkness throughout the universe is explained herewith as being caused by the embryo created in the womb of Diti by the semen of Kashyapa. Qualified people, their product is now showcasing everyone the darkness. Right? So this, and in one sense, sadhus, it is their job to show darkness. In one sense, if you can appreciate, the job of a sadhu is to show darkness. So we will end here. It's 8:45, right? So devotees want to share something. Yes, Prabhu, share. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Chitragupta. Sorry, I apologize. I'm sorry, not Chitraketu. I apologize. I used the wrong term, Chitragupta. Sorry, wrong term. Thank you for pointing that out. It's Chitragupta, not Chitraketu. Sorry, it is not Chitraketu, Chitragupta. Chitraketu, he starts the Vidyadharas. And one of the Vidyadharas is the snake. You remember the snake who's swallowing Nanda Maharaj? These are Vidyadharas. So he's coming from Chitraketu's side. Yeah, sorry, I used the wrong term. Chitragupta. Yes. Anything else? Thank you, Prabhu. Anything else devotees want to share? No? Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Shri Advaita